Peace and blessings. Namaste to all light warriors, workers, and everything in between. It is I, Sophie, today, and this is another one of those difficult topics to talk about, and I'll try to make it as easy to comprehend as possible. And this one is really dealing with the realm of chaos, okay, Earth, timeline splits, and quantum convergence. And the reason why I'm doing this video is so that everybody can have an idea or a general idea of their own experiences and why they're here, so that we can come here to be the best versions of ourselves that is possible, and how we're learning to relate with other sentient forms. Okay, so we're going to start it from here. We understand that this whole vast universe is mental. Right? We understand that the universe is absolutely mental. We also understand that different levels of consciousness are incarnations or emanations of this mental state, which we consider the Ein Sof. Okay, so the Ein Sof, we would say, is everything and no thing at all, because all sentient life forms and consciousness start with the realm of thought. So a personality can manifest through the process of thinking. Okay, so we have emanations of light, we have emanations of dark, in this realm of duality. Okay, we have emanations that express benevolence and love and peace and altruism, and then you also have emanations that represent the opposite of this. Okay, this is a polarity, okay, that we have going on in this realm of chaos. But why exactly do they consider Earth the realm of chaos? Well, I want you to consider this. In a vast, vast, vast universe, okay, that started with a central point, or an Ein Sof, that starts to now manifest emanations based off of thought, okay, and these emanations go on to create as well worlds and things of the like. Each world or each system has its own governance and its own laws. Okay, so some people are coming from, systems that are very freeing and expansive, and they're able to do whatever it is that they want to do as a part of their soul expression. And then you have others that are coming from realms that have more law and order or discipline, and you have some that are coming from realms that have way more piety, okay, so to speak, and you have realms where just anything goes, right? Because everybody is just dealing with their own free will, and there might not be a lot of restrictions there, okay? And then you take all of these sentient life forms and you throw them on one planet. Okay? And with the varying expressions, the varying shades, the varying cultures, okay? And all of them that come here had a job to try to assist humanity on their evolutionary journey, but they all did it based off of their thinking, their consciousness, okay, and what they consider is right standing. So we have varying degrees of people expressing or having a unique soul expression based off of how they perceive the world or where they came from, okay, and they are all thrown on one planet. And not only that, but then you also have the animal kingdoms, you have the insect kingdoms, and so forth and so on. All right, so we have all of these varying different expressions of the Ein Sof, and all these varying different expressions of these emanations that are all trying to coexist with different levels of consciousness, different levels of understanding, different levels of knowledge, different levels of wisdom. Okay, and not only that, but they're also on this planet, and they bring with them their culture. Okay, and they're teaching humanity based off of their point of view. So you have all of these different divisive sects that are going on here, and the job here, okay, for those who have emanated here purposefully. Okay, if you have come here as a volunteer to assist humanity during this process, the ultimate goal is to see if you have the ability to coexist with others who may not think like you, okay, or have a different morality, a different law of ethics that they themselves have experienced. So we're trying to be on one planet with all these varying different levels and degrees of understanding and experience and knowledge and wisdom. And the goal is, do you have the ability to coexist with others who do not think like you? Okay, without being violent, without being cynical, without trying to lord over another or trump over somebody else, without becoming narcissistic or selfish. Do you have the ability, do you have what it takes to understand somebody else's point of view when it is pointed out to you? Okay, so what makes this realm chaotic is the varying degrees of knowledge and understanding, okay, and how humanity itself should have been governed. All right. So you have certain set of beings that say, law and order is necessary. And then you have other varying beings that say, no, free will, creativity, and expression is necessary. Okay. And then you have those that are in between or varying degrees from one extreme to the next. Right. So when we're saying we are co-creating our own reality, what exactly does that mean now? Okay. Because we're here. We're in the realm of chaos, and we have everything from light, the highest light, to the lowest dark coexisting on one planet. And it is our job to navigate through this realm, okay, without accumulating as much karma as possible and without causing as less harm as possible, and to try to get our way from the realm of chaos back up to the Ein Sof. Okay, so these are the challenges that every sentient life form that enters into this realm has to face. Okay, and yes, there's division, there's segregation, there's classism, there's control, there's freedom, there's everything that's going on here, and that's what makes this realm chaotic. Okay, because it has not been completely unified. Now, the issue with this is it's never really going to be unified. Okay, because as we have learned, when it comes down to free will, you will always have a polarity expression. Okay, you can always choose one, or you can always choose the other, or you can choose varying degrees in between. Okay, so there will never be a particular place where all of the chaos come and everybody gets into agreement on it. That can't play out that way. And the reason why I can't, because what is agreeable to one may not be agreeable to the other. So here is where we end up with these timeline splits, okay? Or what I consider quantum convergence. Now, the popular understanding of the 3D, 5D timeline split is that, it's just going to be two. You have your 3D elements and you have your 5D people or levels of consciousness. The truth of the matter is there's more than that, okay, that goes on in between, okay? But for the sake of sanity, for the masses, we say 3D and we say 5D, all right? It's easier to chew on, okay? Because, duality deals with two. But, truth be told, there's way more timeline splits than that. Why? Because of quantum convergence. Now, what is quantum convergence, you may ask? All right. So in a quantum realm, or a mental realm that is going on here in this planet and other planets as well, the level of degrees that you have the ability to raise your consciousness broadens your perspective on how you view this realm, okay? Okay, so it can be a short, narrow, or it can be very, very, very broad, okay? But it's all going to depend on the degree that you are able to process and learn and understand what's going on in the realm. So some people are going to be here, some people are going to be here, and there's going to be varying people in between. But we're not going to view it in a level of hierarchy because everybody's experience is somewhat different. There might have been trials and stuff like that that is specific to one group of people that's not going to be applicable to another group of people. So that's why we say that they're varying degrees. Okay. Now, with quantum convergence, once you expand your consciousness, as you start to elevate a little bit higher, 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 and now you're starting to see from the top down and see the whole entire picture. What you will notice is that timelines start to split off and branch off based off of quantum convergence. Quantum convergence deals with an energetic field having the ability to attract those with similar energetic fields or transmute or influence other energetic fields. Okay? So what happens when we're splitting up in these timelines is each of us who are here in the realm of chaos is constantly feeding back information to the Ein Sof, to the ineffable. We're constantly reporting out information back and we're receiving information back, okay? And this is an effort to continually grow and expand this experience, okay? So what you are sending out, when others are sending out the same signal or very similar signal, they start to group together, okay? And then they themselves become a branch of a consciousness. So you'll have this whole field of consciousness, and in this whole field of consciousness and conscious thought and understanding, you will see that there will be people who will think like you. They'll start to converge in one group. Others will start to converge in another group. Third will start to converge in another group, and so forth and so on. All right. Now, when you have enough of a collective that is thinking or share the same morality, share the same ethics, share the same understanding, or share the same mindset as how they want their earth experience to be, when enough of them condense into that quantum collective, it branches off and it creates another timeline. Okay? The same with the ones in the middle, the same with the ones on the end, or it's just a never ending thing. Okay? So we end up splitting off on all of these different timelines based off of what it is that we're trying to experience, because those who are co-creating are actually making their reality. Okay? So, for instance, those who do not like law and order or anything like that. Okay? They want to be free. They don't want to be governed and this, that, and the third. Then they will call them anarchists. Okay? And what will happen is if enough of them wants to view a world that has no rules and no governance, then that collective consciousness starts to branch off and create another timeline. And they will figure out that what they are wanting is exactly what they are going to experience. Okay, so we split up, we divide, and we create. Okay, and this is one of the reasons why you're having an issue, okay, seeing things the exact same way that someone else may see them. Because your reality, your actual reality is being affected. Okay? So, as we stated before, it has been out with the old and with the new. And now we've created a timeline that fits what your goals are, that fits what you're trying to manifest. And you'll never be in that by yourself. Okay, there is always going to be a collective of beings that are thinking and operating the same way as you. Now, you'll probably ask why that is. Brand new thoughts, okay, come from the realms of Ein Sof, and it is basically conducted and expanded from our own journeys and our own experiences. Okay? So enough of us complain about something that is going on. It keeps going up the channels, okay? And then in those higher realms, we try to figure out how to change that, all right? And so forth and so on. You're branching off on multiple timelines, not just two. It's not just a 3D and a 5D thing. We're branching off in multiple timelines at this time, based off of the reality that we want to see. Where exactly do we fit in? Okay, so as I said, you have a group of collective of beings that process this universe completely different from one another, thrown into one realm together, trying to figure out whose ways, whose methods, whose understanding is dominant, okay, and trying to convince others to go along with the fray. All right. And based off of what our soul agrees to, based from our own levels of understanding, we're going to naturally gravitate to one system or another, or another, or another. Okay. And when we start to naturally gravitate to these levels of understanding or this collective thinking, then that collective itself is now alive, branches off into a timeline, and creates that particular earth, okay? And that becomes the reality that you are going to experience, all right? So it's very interesting to view, very difficult to explain, but very easy to understand, very easily comprehended, okay? We're all going to get back what we put into it. So, you want your perfect, peaceful earth? Continue to manifest it, continue to work for it, and you will also start to gravitate to you others that think exactly like you, and you're going to gravitate to others that think like you. Okay. And you guys are going to end up being a collective, okay, on your own within a collective because of free will. Okay. And that collective will now manifest together. They'll congeal together and they'll create a completely different timeline based off of their own values, their own thinking, their own levels of understanding, and what they want to see done. So those who like chaos or violence, they experience that on their journey. Those who like peace, they experience that on their journey. Those that like a mixture of both, they experience that in their journey too. Okay? So everybody has their own journey. Okay? Some are going to be very, very pleasant. Some are going to be not so pleasant. But if you have an understanding of how all of these timelines split work, then you'll have the ability to constantly want to change the reality that you are in, okay? And we all simply just do it by working together. And that's all I have to say. I love you all. Take care.